This old guy DIY video has to do with troubleshooting a 30-year-old Ruger 1022 that did not go boom when I squeezed the trigger the other day. So I've had this thing for about 30 years. I needed it to dispatch a pest the other day. It didn't work. So now I'm taking it apart. And disassembly consists of taking off the barrel band. Then you have this little screw that actually holds the stock to the receiver. And then you break those two pieces apart, and I'll continue from there. Then to remove the trigger assembly, it's just a matter of pushing out these two little pins, and this buffer pin normally falls out also, it just falls out on its own. So I'll push these two little pins out and continue from there. After pushing the two pins out here, the trigger assembly comes out, and it looks pretty clean. So last week I pulled this firing block assembly out. I found a whole bunch of gunk. I thought that was my issue. Put it back together. It did not work. You could see where the firing pin was hitting the rimfire cartridge, but the cartridge wasn't going off. So today I'm going to pull a little further apart, and I suspect I have an issue with gunk on the firing pin itself. So last time I was in that area right there around the barrel, and it cleaned out a whole bunch of accumulated crap there, but it did not resolve the issue. So now I'm going to push this little pin out and see what the firing pin itself looks like in terms of crud or damage to the pin, and see if I can't get this thing back in action. And a hack, if you don't have the proper size punch for knocking out roll pins, you have one of these Chinese titanium drill bit sets, just find a drill bit that's the size of the pin you're trying to remove. You can go ahead and pound on the end of the bit. It'll displace the pin, and basically you have unlimited sizes for $7.99 or whatever that drill bit set cost you. When I removed the firing pin and the spring, I took the block, kind of held it up like that, and I just scraped out all this residual crap that was in the middle. I used this white piece of paper just so we could see what was in there. But I just took the tip of a nail and ran it down through there. Now I'll go downstairs and hit it with some rem oil, clean it up a little better. But we had all this stuff that was in the way. If you look at the end right here, you can see where that metal is kind of, looks like it's peened back, or it's just beaten itself into a position over the last 30 years, that it's actually shorter on that edge that's supposed to impact the shell casing. So I suspect I need a new firing pin now, but I'll clean this one up, put it back together in the name of science, and see if it fires. And this is the firing pin. I just took a paper towel and I wiped all the residual crap off of that. So we'll try reassembly now. I taped these 4 shells together to show you the witness marks from those that failed to fire. And these 2 on the left, I think I put in there and tried to fire 4 or 5 times. In the past year or so, if I did have a misfire, if I just put the shell back in, it would go again. But in this case, I tried them 4 or 5 times. You can see they look like they were beat up with a ball peen hammer. And then these 2 over here, I only tried once, but they appeared to have light strikes on them. So now that I have the assembly put back together, I'll put it back in the gun and try to fire these same 4 shells. After cleaning and reassembly, none of these 4 would go bang. So it's time for me to buy a new firing pin. You can look at all the beating on that one, but it still wouldn't fire. So on to the next adventure. I hope this video helped you, and have a great day.